Ephphatha, still used in the rite of baptism. It's the passive command. Pathach is to open, be opened. Some years ago in France, I noticed that I was becoming heavy of hearing, but I noticed that it was purely because of wax, and so I was given an appointment by the doctor to get it syringed. And boy, was it a shock when I could hear perfectly again, things I hadn't been perceiving before. But how many go through life with their ears, I mean their interior ears, in that malfunctioning state? We don't pick things up. I'd like today, my friends, to propose to each one of you, wherever you're at in life, whatever your age, whatever your state, to learn one secret. I remember how it hit me in France from a priest talking to us in community one time. Vous qui savez ce que c'est que recevoir. Recevoir. You who know what it is to receive. To receive. That means input. You remember the old telephones? There was a receiver. They evolved in form, and now they are very small. But they have to receive. Do you remember the old wireless sets? They didn't have a receiver. They only had an emitter. And how many people go through life as a wireless, emitting until death and not knowing how to receive? Look at many a conversation. Someone starts talking, that person carries on talking. Somebody at some point may make some observation, and the person will then nevertheless carry on talking as though nothing had been said. It's a form of reigning over the atmosphere. I am. And don't think it's just lay people who are at it. It's a common problem even in monastic recreation. Somebody oftentimes will lead the conversation where he wants to or she wants to. I am. Look at many a dysfunctional marriage or relationship. What happens? Somebody has a point. That point is uncomfortable to hear, and so then the other person will come in. What will happen? There will be no middle ground. Decibels will quickly swell, up, and temperatures will get hotter. And again, I say, it's not only amongst the lay people. Even chapter meetings can become quite heated. Some years ago in Italy, there was the case of a postman going down the alley to a hidden female monastery. And when he was about to deliver the mail, he heard this. He looked in amazement, and it got louder. I can't imitate the maximum, but the maximum was reached. He made off with himself and contacted the Carabinieri, the police, to sort out this mild difference of opinion. The other thing is that the next day, 50 million people have heard about it in Italy. Interesting. Specialists of charity. It can happen. And we think that in a marriage, because they have all the rights, they have also the right to occasionally explode, occasionally to become unpleasant. Well, let's go back in time. What happened at the point of engaging? I, so-and-so, take you, so-and-so, to be my lawful wedded husband, wife, to have and to hold, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. And remember that clause, to love and to cherish. Explode? That wasn't on the contract. Do you remember how John Paul II had a whole teaching on marriage? It was the domestic church. He wanted that Christian spouses breathed the grace of God not only supernaturally, but very concretely, and that all that we heard in the family would be graced. It can happen. Why must we hurt each other as we go through life when we could sort something out without it? Restraint. Control of one's reactions. In psychology, one distinguishes between les primaires, those who have only the primary reactions, and those who are more reflective, who can control and filter and be in full command of all that they say. The first, oftentimes, is not fully mature because his emotions are stronger than he. He is out of control. But I want to zoom into one specific area, which is the secret. It functions on both levels. It functions with Him, our God. It functions amongst each other. Recevoir. First, the mode of approaching our King. We are in Ireland greatly handicapped on a parish level globally. Our celebrations have become fidgety, noisy, and fairly quick. It does not make for that element of receiving, because we haven't got time to get into mode. But more than that, the soul itself is its own worst enemy. For if we love our God and King, we will want Him. As between lovers, they suffer when they're apart. They need each other's quality time and attention. And by the way, that too is damaging relationships. When a third party comes in, and I mean nowadays a gadget, the gadget is more important than the spouse. It's happening. Even in bed, the gadget is there, quite often. In the very hearth and heart of holy matrimony. Virtual presence. Never should one have a television on during a meal. That time is sacred. And so too with our God. There are some who carry this gadget with them into prayer. There are some actually who need it for their prayer, to get the prayers off it. But that's, unless one can handle it, something which can be an occasion of distraction, because accidentally there might be a bleep as well, because it's on and it's available. Oh! And then the mind is divided, because to get into mode of attention to Him, the silent one is to be totally available, without anything at all. And not many can do that. Proof. Go to many an adoration chapel and what will you find? Those little bits of magazine, holy things of course, come out and they fill the time. Or otherwise you can listen and you can admire. Vocal prayer, crowding out what? What we're there for. Eyeball to eyeball. The same as between husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend. Total availability and being relaxed without need to make appeal to a third party, a gadget or another person. I want to end with this one point. where I started. In the specifically monastic life of perpetual silence, there is only input. It's a big difference because there is no leakage of energy. And I remember being taught the whole teaching of the interior life is based on this. L'oreille intérieure, the interior ear. Have you ever seen a picture of St. Benedict? I bet you he was in this mode. And the first word of the rule is, listen, ausculta. The whole ethos then is to be receiving. But it applies also when you're before the mystery of another human being. Honor the presence within him by not hurting Jesus within. You can't then come safely to the Blessed Sacrament and adore him, love him, and you've just hurt him badly in the heart where he dwells. When in conversation there is a simple trick. You wouldn't believe it, but one of the best examples of its mastery was a terrible spy. Did you hear of, I think it was the Cambridge Five, I think there were 5 of them, who came out of Cambridge and went to work in espionage, I believe for the Russians. One, the most famous of all, found his way to the inside of Bletchley Park, where the greatest brains of England were trying to crack the ultra-secret codes of the Nazis and whatever might be on the airwaves. He was in the midst, feeding information to the wrong side. And he had a trick. He would go to where he knew that key people with key information were going to have a moment of détente and relaxation. And that meant a few, probably gallons of drink, which loosens the tongue. And he would go just within earshot, would put himself behind a newspaper, only drink a few sips, and pick up, after the nth jar, all that they were saying, caught off guard, and reporting it back to HQ. And so, my friends, next time you're in a conversation, remember that one word that I give you, recevoir. You learn far more in life if you're in input mode than in output. And you'll have your interior ear serene.